Church. It's Friday again. Thank you for joining me. I feel so blessed to be here with you today. Sorry I wasn't here last week, but today's reading is 1 Samuel chapters 10 through 12. And we are learning about Saul. So let's get a little history on Saul. Saul was the first king of Israel and Judah. He was chosen by God through a prophet named what? That's right, Samuel. And Saul was here to unite tribes into a monarchy. And initially he was humble and he was a successful military leader. And what tribe was he from? That's right, the tribe of Benjamin. Oh, I'm so proud of you. His reign was marked with, he had a lot of victories on the battlefield, but then we see that in later chapters he was disobedient and he had jealousy over David. But so keep all of that in mind about who Saul is, why we go through chapter 10 through 12. So in these chapters, we're seeing a transition from the era of judges into the first king of Israel. And it's a story of transformation and public confirmation. And it really is a sobering reminder that what it means to follow God while living under human leadership. And that gets in the gray area, right? There's a lot of questions around that sometimes. So in chapter 10, we see this transformation. And Samuel privately anoints Saul. But the real change is not the title. It is the Spirit of God rushes in. And what happens? He's changing his heart. And Saul begins to prophesy. Like, this guy's prophesying now. And people are asking, is Saul also among the prophets? And what we're learning here in this chapter is God doesn't just give Saul a title. He gives him a new heart. And when God calls you to a task, when he lays something on your heart, whether it's leading your community or a family member, he provides the internal shift necessary to handle the pressures of the outside world. Meaning, sometimes we can't see the change, or, we have this catastrophic thing going on in life. And maybe that situation, that physical situation, does not change. But God equips us. We meet every Friday, and he is equipping us. He is changing our hearts. He's changing our minds. He's giving us the internal tools to be able to deal with what is thrown at us in life. And I think that's really important to understand. So we go down, and in chapter 11, we see public proof. I gotta get down here to my notes. I'm sorry, folks. And we're seeing that he's proving the people that are doubting him wrong. Y'all can say what you want, but I got Jesus. Well, then it was God. But today we say, it doesn't matter what you say. I've got Jesus. He hung on that cross for me. And so we're seeing here, just because Saul was picked and given a title, it doesn't mean that everyone respected him. And he has to prove he can do this job. And so we see that the cruel leader is like, I'm going to take you over. I'm going to gouge your right balls out of all the men. And so Saul has to prove that he's the leader and he can bring Israel through this. And what happens? They go and tell Saul, he's out in the field with his ox, And they're like, that dude over there is bringing his army and he's going to gouge your eyeballs out. And Saul gets mad. He's like, how dare it? Like, we have God. Like, and what does he do? He mobilizes and he gets angry and he sends a call to action across Israel and raises a massive army overnight. We see here in chapter 11, right here, overnight, he puts this army together. Well, he didn't put that army together. God put that army together. And what happened? They crushed the enemy. When Saul's fans want to kill people who originally made fun of him, what did Saul do? He stopped them. He says, no, today we celebrate what God did. And what did that do to the masses? It earned him respect. So we go on down here to chapter 12. And I put here the retirement speech. So Samuel's stepping down as the main leader, and he gives the State of a Union address, basically, but he does it with a warning. And Samuel asks, have I ever stolen from you? Have I ever lied? And they all say no. And he's showing them what a clean leader looks like. Okay, so keep that in mind while you read the next several chapters. To prove God is serious, Samuel prays for a thunderstorm during the dry harvest. And what happens? It pours. The people realize they've been a bit rebellious by asking for a human king instead of just trusting God. And what do we take away from this? Samuel tells them, you have your king now. Like, Saul's right here. But if you and your king don't listen to God, it doesn't matter. Things are going to get really bad for everyone. So be faithful to God. When we're reading these chapters, in the first chapter, we see we are chosen and we are equipped for the job that is in front of us, even if we want to go run and hide. Just like Saul did, went and hid in the luggage, remember? God equips us. Even if we can't see it, he's transforming our hearts. He equips us. In chapter 11, we see actions speak louder than words, and they speak louder than titles. Success in a crisis wins over the people, and God knew that. God knew that they were in a crisis and they needed to be successful, and God showed himself. This was God's muscle. And then in chapter 12, even with a great leader, rules of the road don't change. Integrity and faith and putting God first are the only things that keep a community stable. Meaning, integrity and faith and putting God first is how you keep your life stable. And I'm pulling up my other notes. What we're learning here is that titles, fear, none of it matters. Because God changes our hearts. He equips us to be able to handle anything. And we can do anything as long as we put God first. That means that there is no president, there is no earthly king that needs to come before God. God has to come first. It doesn't matter who the leader is. That leader has to be of God. You have to be of God. So my prayer this week is that you go through life this week and you know that it doesn't matter what battles that you're going through. God has changed your heart. He is equipping you. And it doesn't matter what title we have. We still have to put our faith in God first. Well, all right, Beach Church, I will see you Sunday.